Hello everybody and welcome to another episode with the InfluEnzo, which is now getting to the point where perhaps, I'm going to have done most of the stuff. So the engine started up again. I haven't used it since the last video, to be fair, but it seems to be running okay at the moment. So for this video, we need to completely confirm that the engine is now fixed. I need to put some more miles on it and then see the state of the plugs, make sure it's not burning oil, but there's no smoke at the moment, so fingers crossed. The other thing is that something's still not quite right with the suspension, and I think one shock has a spring which has sagged a bit. So I want to completely redo the suspension, including some new shocks. Now for that, I am taking it to my friend Anton's because it's still absolutely freezing. Zero sort of freezing in the garage that I use, and it's easier if the car can go a bit higher up than the quick jack will allow. So we'll take it to Anton's, have a look underneath, have a look at what needs doing, and then just take it from there. Got the InfluEnzo up on the ramp and we've had a quick look around at all the various bushes. Now, on the passenger side front, they were all replaced by QV in London and they're all good, but there's some better news. All the other ones, and to be fair, QV did say those were the only ones that needed replacing, so it makes sense that we had a look around, tried them, and actually, they're all pretty much fine as they are. They don't need changing. So I'm pretty sure that the main issue are those old tired shocks. They're the original shocks that came with the car. They haven't ever been rebuilt. And I think I'm going to go for some replacement sort of adjustable coil overs. They're not going to be the super stiff sort of track jobs. They're going to be still road. But I think it kind of makes sense in the end. I changed the bushes on those, but it probably wasn't worth doing. So I'll get those ordered. We'll get those fitted and then we'll see how it drives. Hello everyone, well it's been a few days and the original plan was that I was going to come back, we dropped it off, had a look at it, ordered the shocks, so I was going to come back and we were going to do it together, but I last week went a bit sort of pear-shaped and in the end Anton just fitted them directly, so we'll ask him about that and then we're going to have a look at the ride height, because it won't be right yet, see how it's riding, do some adjustments, take it for a drive and see if it is a massive improvement, which is what I'm desperately hoping. So, Anton, how did it go? Was it a straightforward job doing the shocks, or?
It wasn't too bad. Pretty straightforward, really.
Okay. Any major issues? There was a stripped bolt, wasn't there?
Except for one stripped bolt, yeah.
Okay, and that was on one of the top ball joints, right?
Top ball joint on the front.
Okay, so it's good we found that. And apart from that, how was it?
Yeah, all right, really.
Let me just get the camera and you can talk us through it. Okay, buddy, so rear shocks, what did you have to remove and what did you have to do to fit them?
Well, first of all, you've got to get the wheel off.
Yeah.
And then, literally, it's just the top bolt of the shock absorber, the bottom bolt of the shock absorber, sorry.
Yeah.
And the top one. And
so that's literally it? You didn't have to undo any of the swing arm bolts, nothing?
Nothing like that.
Do they come out the top or the...?
They came out the top. You've got to take the inner wheel liners out.
Yeah.
Definitely, to get them out.
Yeah.
But the old ones are more difficult to get off than the new ones, because the new ones seem to be a bit shorter.
Okay. And so I can see from here, it looks like adjusting them isn't going to be great. What's the story with that?
Definitely not. I tried to put them the other way, but you'd have to take the wheel off every time to adjust them. So that's the way I found the best. You have to jack the car up there to get the suspension on droop.
So for the damping, the suspension has to be on droop, right? Because as soon as it compresses, you won't be able to reach that adjuster.
You can't adjust it.
And then for the springs, for the ride height?
The springs, unfortunately, you probably have to take off the wheel.
Okay, and what are the fronts like?
The fronts are a bit more tricky.
Okay.
You have to take loose the anti-roll bar bolt / bottom shock absorber bolt.
Yeah.
The top ball joint bolts.
Yeah. That's one of the ones that was stripped,
Yes, you have to take them off.
Yeah.
Then you have to remove both the top wishbone bolts.
Yeah.
Because it's a long bolt and you can't get the bolt out without removing the front wishbone bolt. So it comes out just enough, then you can take everything out and reassemble it.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
Cool. And the adjustment at the front is a bit better?
Definitely a lot better.
There's more access. So the actual damper adjustment you can reach with the car, and then the coil springs, again, I can probably do that without taking the wheels off on the ramp anyway.
Yeah, the front one, you couldn't put the adjuster the other way because of the wishbone guard sort of thing.
Okay, cool. And a little bit of publicity for you, so it's not normal racing, right?
Definitely not normal racing.
Anton's a whiz with Italian cars, Fiat 500s, but also he does all the work that I don't do on this car. So if you need anything, he's based in Woodstock in Oxfordshire, edge of the Cotswolds. Thanks, buddy, I appreciate it. Right, we'll lower it down and we'll see how it sits. Right, so the space isn't ideal to show you what's going on, but I think you can just about see. It definitely looks a lot better than before. The back, I think, is maybe okay, but at the front, it's definitely too low, so I'm gonna have to adjust that. I've also done some adjustment in terms of the damping so that they are about a quarter adjusted from softest at the back and at the front as well. It's definitely lower than before, but I don't know, not a huge amount. Now where it is now, it's not level, so don't judge it on this. I have a feeling though that the back probably needs a couple of turns, a bit more compression on the springs to lift it, but ride height from the floor at the moment is about 28 inches to the wheel arch all round, which I would imagine would work quite well. But the next thing left to do now is just take it out, see how it drives. Hello again, and a couple of days have passed now. I have had to play about with the height adjustments because the rear of the car definitely was riding too low. So I've adjusted that, measured it all round, and now I'm going to go and take the InfluEnzo for a geo check because I don't think that the geo is 100%. And before doing that, yesterday evening, I had a chat with my friend Lou, who's rebuilding one of these, and he's a professional mechanic, and just asked him his advice on how best to set it up. Hey Lou, how you doing?
Fantastic, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So you'll know that I'm replacing the shocks on my own 308. Since you're a professional mechanic and you are restoring your own car, I just thought that I'd double check with you and get your guidance on geo. For a start, I don't have any settings, so if you could send me whatever you have, that'd be really useful. But also, considering I'm lowering it, it will be, I think it's at least an inch it's going to go down, though it's, you know, gone down. What do you think in terms of settings and everything? What should I do?
Well, I would stick with the standard tow settings, unless you're tracking the car or something like that. I would stick there. I mean, lowering it, chances are you're going to change the camber on it. It's probably going to go negative a bit. Whether it stays within the spec window or not, well, who knows? You may need to invest in some shims and somebody who knows how to use them, which is probably a art form not practiced much anymore.
Okay, cool. And then apart from that, just a quick look at your own project. So everybody, Lou has his own YouTube channel, but unlike me, I did it a bit piecemeal. He is going for an absolute full restoration on this car. It is absolutely going to be like new. So where are you with it now? It looks amazing.
Well, basically, I'm trying to get out of the interior. The interior on the car was missing when I got it. This has all been replaced. The suspension's been rebuilt. Everything's been rebuilt. The engine's been rebuilt. As soon as I've done the interior, I'm going to work on the fuel system and then back into putting the engine in. And hopefully drivable by summer.
Do have a look at Lou's channel if you can. His videos are very, very well made. And it's a full restoration of the car, so he goes through everything. It's really, really interesting. So back to the shocks though, have they made a big difference? I have to be completely honest here, and I have adjusted them as well. I've gone, adjusted the clicks for damping and so on. They are an improvement, but they are not the overwhelming improvement that I thought I would get from doing this. So particularly at the back, I think the car's a little bit more, it doesn't cope with the smaller bumps as well as I would hope. I mean, it's fine, but I just thought it might be a bit different really. Perhaps on the original tyres, they ride better. And as I said, it's not a bad ride. It deals with bumps. It keeps the tyre in contact with the road, but it just doesn't seem to deal with the small frequency stuff. After the geo as well, we'll be able to see today not a very nice day. It's only just very mild drizzle, but the roads are slimy, slippery, so I'm not going to be able, I'm going to have to drive quite carefully. But after the geo, let's see what happens. We've done a partial geo and it is already driving a lot better, but because this is a car that requires shims, I'm going to have to get some shims to do it properly, also to do it fully. Also, I've just realised it's a little bit too low because on some of the bigger speed humps it just about touches. So I need to raise it a little bit and then redo it, which is, well, it's okay. It is driving already a lot better. Also, with time now, having driven it a bit more, I can definitely feel a difference with the newer shocks. Having said that, it's not completely transformed the car, so I think the old shocks were probably okay. But this gives me a chance to lower it a little bit. Hopefully I'll handle a little bit better. So overall, there are at least some advantages to having done it. Not as many as I originally hoped though. So now it's time to go home, give the InfluEnzo a good clean because it is so dirty. I've just been out on these country roads, there's mud everywhere and it is just filthy. But the other good thing is the engine at the moment, touch wood, still seems to be going well, so which is the most important thing. But I'm really looking forward to spending some more time with the InfluEnzo. There's another few little jobs I've got to do, the rust in the battery tray, so there are more videos to come. Thank you so much for watching and see you for the next one.